Here we go. Live on Facebook. We are recording. We have 1 minute to launch, and I'm a stickler for starting on time. So as you are coming into our classroom today, it's always fun to find out where you are, how long you've been in the real estate business. Please, in the chat box on the Zoom side and in Facebook on the chat box on that side, if you would post your where you are in the world, what city, state, country you might be in, and then how long you've been in the real estate business. And we have so far people that have been in the business from brand new to 21 years. So so far, Jody in Florida, you've won the day for 21 years. Thanks for being here. So let's see, got a couple of messages. All right. So it is 9 o'clock Eastern time. We will launch and let's get started. I need to do one more thing before we go. One more thing. Stand by. Okay. So let's see if we're in the right spot this morning. This is the skills you need to succeed. My name is Zan Monroe, and I've just posted up a PowerPoint, and it probably rearranged your screen. So let's do a little housekeeping. If you will reach over to your video box and expand that box on your screen so that the PowerPoint is about half of the screen and the video box is the other half, you'll get a better learning environment for the morning. I will come and go with PowerPoint. So when I bring it up, you don't want it to wipe me out of your screen. So if you'll just reach over there to your video box and expand that out, that'll give you a balanced screen and you'll be able to see both. This is the skills you need to succeed. So let's begin this way. My father passed away when I was 11 years old, and that began me on a search for success. I first started looking for father figures in my life. My mother and 3 older sisters were on the farm, and I was the youngest, but I also became the man of the family at 11 years old. And that caused me to begin to seek success. I kept asking, what am I going to be like when I grow up? Now, I grew up with a mother and 3 sisters, so I had some evolving to do into becoming a man. And so I patterned after my uncles, and I had several uncles that were highly successful, and I had several uncles that were not. And I began at an early age to say, what is the difference between successful people and non-successful people? As I moved into the real estate world, that question evolved into real estate. And for the last 20 years, I have studied real estate agents who are wildly successful and those who are not. And I basically have boiled down the success formula into 8 pieces, 8 simple areas that great agents have. And unsuccessful agents just don't. So today I wanted to share those with you. Now, we have 1 hour together today. This is a brief look at a course I call Recharge. Recharge is a 12-hour course. So I'm going to boil down 12 hours of teaching into 1 hour today. Now, the course Recharge is let me change my screen here. The course Recharge is a course that I put together over some years because people would ask me to come into their company and alter the way their company did business. So this is a precursor for this entire course. It begins in September. It'll all be online. You'll come right into my office just like this from 9 to noon every Thursday in September. It costs $300. It's not cheap, but the information is guaranteed. When you finish this morning, you'll understand. I will guarantee that if you take this course and run the systems that I'm going to teach you, and I'll teach you a lot of these systems this morning, it comes with a guarantee that your business will go up by 50% in the next year, or I'll give you your money back. Thousands of agents have been through this course. I've never been asked to refund the money, simply because when you take this course, you'll realize it works. Now, if you're in a company, we will give company discounts, and your entire company can attend this if you're interested. My buddy Daryl Lundy is standing by, 336-210-3766. If you represent a company and you'd like to get your entire company in this course, we'll do it. So let's get started. In my lifetime of studying success, and especially in the real estate world, I've come up with 3 keys to your success. Here's the first: your mindset. And that's where this course starts this morning. And this is actually the very first lesson of the 8 that we're going to cover today. It's your mind that holds you back. It's your mindset that creates success. Here's the second lesson: it's your skill set. Practice is important to your success. Practicing your craft as a realtor is important. And it's one of the things that our industry never practices. Oh, we just go out and try to list and try to work with buyers and figure it out while we're doing there. Hey, if I had a surgeon, he's getting ready to operate on me, and he says, look, I'm going to get inside you and figure it out as I go. I read a book about this once. I don't want anything to do with that surgeon. And today's consumer doesn't want anything to do with a realtor who doesn't have the skill set necessary to help me. At 10:30 last night, I got a text from a niece who's trying to buy a property. And she said, this realtor hasn't got a clue how to help me do what I'm trying to accomplish. Their skill set is lacking. Here's the third: your actions. Now, some of you may have been with me before. Some of you are brand new to who Zan Monroe is. But the truth is, this morning, I'm going to give you enough information to change your life. Now, the question is, what will you do with it? Go back to do business like you've always done? Well, that's the definition of insanity. Doing what you've always done and expecting a different result. 3 keys to your success. So this is where we're going today. We are headed to these 8 skills that will help you become a better realtor. Let's begin with the first. And here's the first. I have worked with some of the greatest realtors in the United States. Tammy Spalding out in Colorado, more than $1 million a year in income. Andrew Monahan, Phoenix, Arizona, came here from Ireland with a suitcase and $200. Last time I was in his office, he had over 600,000 in pending sales. Not production, commissions. Dave Evans, selling furniture, driving his car. Today he sells all the houses that he wants. Ivy Jacobs took this course with me her first week in real estate. She's now a manager of an office, and she trains agents. Deborah Lecision out of Virginia Beach in the red jacket there. Her husband left her when she had a 2-year-old at home. She's awesome at what she does. this is the one thing they all share. And this is the first lesson I want to teach this morning. Your success dramatically depends on what goes on up here. We spend almost the first day of Recharge talking exclusively about how to manage your mind. Because let's think about this. Human animals, we wouldn't survive long in the jungle. We don't have big claws. We can't run very fast. We don't have fur. We don't have big teeth. What do we have? We have a brain. And that's what you bring to the table. The problem is your brain has been programmed. And nowhere in our society today do we talk about how to unprogram the bad things and reprogram successful things. Well, that's what we teach in Recharge. It's what I've spent a lifetime studying. This is one of the books I've written. It's called 7 Lessons for Success. It's based on my mother. And it's based on the things that she had to learn before, she had to learn after my father passed away. She was 50 years old, had never worked outside the home, 4 children at home, businesses to run, farm to run, land, investments. She had no background. She had to learn how to run her mind. But it's simpler than that. We've programmed ourselves for success or failure. I'll give you an example. When I was 6 years old, my father paved the driveway to our house. And he claimed that there was extra asphalt left over, and so they made a tennis court. Now, I grew up on a 40-acre farm, and we had horses and cows, and we lived out in the country, but my father loved to play the game of tennis, and he built a tennis court. So on Sunday afternoons, when I was a child, cars would come after church, and they would park on our lawn, and people would line up to play tennis in my backyard. I thought everybody grew up with a tennis court. What did I know? So I grew up playing the game of tennis. And I had 3 older sisters. And all of the high school boys would come to my house to play basketball with me because I was so fabulous a basketball player at the age of 9 or 10. And the bad thing about those high school boys who came to play basketball with me was, well, the game would always stop when my sisters came out of the house. And for some unknown reason, my sisters were all made up and their hair was done and they were wearing different clothes than when they came home from school. I never understood that. I mean, didn't they come to play basketball with me? So I played tennis at my house and I played basketball with the high school guys, and I got to be pretty good at both sports. And in the 9th grade, they said, we're going to have a 9th grade basketball team. Well, I'm going out for the basketball team because Greg Lawrence is going out and I can beat him in my driveway, and Ronnie Hicks is going out for the basketball team and I can beat him in the driveway one-on-one. I went out for the basketball team. So I go to the gym where we're supposed to play basketball, but no, we're not in the gym. We're out there on the field, and they ran us to death. I had never been run that hard in my life. And the next morning I woke up and I was so sore. I thought, I cannot do this again today. So I went to Coach Jackson. I'll never forget leaning on his door jamb, and I said, Coach Jackson, I can't go out for your basketball team today. I'm going to quit. And Coach Jackson, he said, Zan, you're pretty good at basketball. Come on out. I said, no, Coach Jackson, I just can't do that. Maybe I'll be a manager for the team. I couldn't tell him that I was so sore that my legs might fall off. And as I turned and walked down that hall away from Coach Jackson's office, in that instant, I became a physical failure in here. And the truth is, Greg Lawrence made the basketball team and played point guard, but I could beat him in my driveway. and I was a physical failure. Now, the next year I transferred schools. I went into high school in the 10th grade, but I moved to another school. Now, it was a small school, and they begged me to play on the basketball team. So I started as point guard for 3 years. And our senior year, we went to the state championships, or to the tournament. We didn't win the tournament, but we won a few games. I played basketball for them, but that was a small school. I'm a physical failure. And I played tennis in high school, and I was pretty good. I was most improved one year and the most valuable player one year, and I beat some state-ranked players. But you see, I'm no good as an athlete because I'm a physical failure, because I couldn't go out for basketball in the 9th grade. When I graduated from high school, I went to college. I played college tennis in Florida and transferred to NC State. I was a walk-on player at NC State for their tennis team. I played in the ACC, but I'm a physical failure because of what happened in the 9th grade. I went on to play tournaments all over the Southeast. I was ranked as high as number 8 in the state of North Carolina. I quit college, built my own tennis and swim club, was a USPTA tennis professional. I played professionally, won a little bit of money, but not much. I was a better teacher than I was a player because, you see, I'm a physical failure. Now, I just got a question. What are you carrying around that's false inside your head? What are you carrying today that is preventing you from being a success? Because from the age of 15 to the age of 25, I carried around the absolute positive belief that I was a physical failure. And all of the reality around me didn't change a bit. Ranking in the state, winning tennis tournaments, playing for NC State, none of that changed. And then one night, sitting in my own tennis club, at my own clubhouse, a facility that I owned and was the head tennis pro at, an old girlfriend said in a sentence, something about me being a professional athlete. And just like that, I realized I was. I need to know. You need to know. What are you carrying around? What are you carrying around that's holding you back from being a success? Because I can tell you that the great agents I have worked with are not superior intellect. They don't have some specialized training. They don't know things that you don't know. They just have a belief system. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the number one thing that I can tell you will change your business. You want to see number 2? Let's talk about number 2. The second most important thing you can have is a business plan. I have taught business planning for my whole career. I've spoken all over the United States, every state but South Dakota. So if we have anybody from South Dakota here, that's the only state I've not spoken in. Canada, Mexico, the Bahamas, Europe. I've been all over speaking. And every time I teach anything about business planning, I always ask the audience, how many of you have a written business plan you are following today? And here's my research. Less than 3% of realtors have any plan at all that they're following. I used to teach a 2-day course in business planning. And here's what I have learned. It's way simpler than that. So let me give you the world's simplest business plan. A written business plan is the difference between a salesperson and an entrepreneur. A salesperson just shows up and hopes they're going to sell something. I see salespeople on car lots all the time. They work for the next person who walks up, and when you walk away, they forget about you. But real estate is the most complex business on earth. People ask me that don't know really what I do. They say, Zan, what do you do? I say, I coach people to deal with the most emotionally powerful and complex transaction in the world today. That's what y'all do. You spend your days dealing with the most emotional transaction a person will ever deal with, which is the buying and selling of their home. And it has become the most complex transaction. And the world today makes you want to believe that we can do it just like ordering a book from Amazon. We can just do it with an app on the phone, and that is not so. We need highly trained professionals to help us do this. I'm an expert in real estate. I'm getting ready to go shopping for a house in the mountains of North Carolina. And the truth is, I don't know how it works there. I will need a guide. So if you're in the Blowing Rock, Boone area and you're on the session today, I want to hear from you because I don't have someone to represent me up there. But the first thing I'm going to ask you is, do you have a written business plan and can you show it to me? See, the difference between a salesperson and an entrepreneur is a written business plan. And we don't know how to write them, so we don't. We think they're this complex thing. I'm going to give you 4 questions. All you got to do is answer these. Here, write these down. Come on, write them down. Number 1, where am I? Where am I? Where are you? It's your career. Where are you? Jody's on here from Palatka, Florida. She's been in the business 21 years. She's at a different place than those of you who are brand new in the business. Where are you? I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. We're attached to Fort Bragg, the world's largest landmass military base, home of the 82nd Airborne Special Operations Command, Delta Force. My next door neighbor is that guy that you see on the movies. And I was talking to him one day about the missions he works, and he said, Zan, when they drop you out of an airplane at tens of thousands of feet, in the middle of the night in a foreign country, and you hit the ground, your first priority is to know where you are, because you cannot go anywhere till you know where you are. Makes sense. Where are you in your career? Here's your second question. Where do you want to go? 21 years from now, like Jody down in Florida, 21 years from now, are you going to be working nights and weekends, holidays? Really? Available 24/7 to whoever might randomly pick up a phone call, or chasing those leads that you're buying from the internet? And oh, by the way, that ain't the way to build a business. Where do you want to go? What is your business going to look like when you finish it? The top agents I showed you as we were starting here, they work 30, 35 hours a week. They're producing hundreds of sales. Some of them, yes, do have an assistant, but they're not got a monster team underneath them. They know how to build a business that looks like what they want it to look like. Now, here's your questions. Number 1 is, where am I? Number 2 is, where do I want to go? Here's your third question. Why? Why? Why do you want to go there? Let me help you with something. This is the most important question. Put a star by it, circle it, and if you don't know why you are doing business in the real estate business today, if you don't know why you're pursuing your career, then you need to take the rest of this day off and go find out. Why? Because the truth is, the most powerful thing on earth is a person with a purpose. That's the biggest difference between success and not. What's your purpose? First question is, where am I? Second is, where do I want to go? Here's your third. Why? Fourth? That's easy. How? I can teach you how in 15 minutes. But if you don't know why, you'll never do it. This is where most people break down. They know how. They just don't know why. You've got to discover your why. Simple, easy things. It's time to build a business, your business. Not for anyone else, but for you. And building a business requires a plan. We teach a 21-point business plan. I've got one right here. It's 21 points. It's gathered from all of the great agents I've ever worked with. And the title of this is, Are You Running Your Business Like a Business? So we have 21 questions, 21 things that you should be working on to build your business. First, in marketing, might want to jot these down. Marketing. How's your listing presentation? How's your buyer presentation? How's your pricing and positioning presentation? It's different than your listing presentation. And then what are you doing to run a better life? Your taxes, your investments, your life. Let me help you with something. The better you get as a person, the better your business will get. The better your business gets, the better you'll have to become as a person. As you improve, your business improves. But so many people don't understand that. So many people just assume all I have to do is show up and I'll be a success. And that is not so. Success requires certain things. You want to talk about skills? Well, let's do. How are your sales skills? What sales course have you done? What books have you read about sales? I grew up reading books about sales. I haven't seen a sales book in years. Because now, today, we think clicking on Amazon is a sale. That's not a sale. That's an order. I just placed an order. Someone must help me in the process. And in today's world, oh, I don't want to be a salesperson. Do you know what the word sales means? If it goes back to the to the old English term salon, which means to help or to assist. I walk in department stores all the time. No one's there to help you. No one's there to assist you. But there's a phenomenon happening in our world today. The big box stores where no one is there capable of helping you and no one knows their products. Well, their market share is being eaten away by small, boutique, expert businesses that specialize in this or that. And you can call on them as an expert for advice. The price becomes a little less relevant when you know how to move forward. Great sales skills have to be learned. And I studied for years the greatest company on earth for sales. The #1 retail store in the world, the place that has the highest sales per square foot, it's Apple. And the Apple sales presentation has been taught by well, not taught, but written up in the Wall Street Journal, the Harvard Business Review. It's a 4-step sales process. I'm going to give it to you right now. These are the types of things that we teach in Recharge. Because if no one's ever taught you a sales presentation, well, the one I'm about to give you is better than the one you don't have. Come on, folks. In today's world, your expertise is why people hire you. Anybody can look online. Anybody can find a house. The question is, if I work with you, what are you bringing to the table? Here's the 4-step Apple sales presentation. I learned it with my daughter. This is my daughter, Louisa. That's her graduating from high school picture. She's been out of school quite some time now, but that was my first experience at an Apple store. Have you ever been to an Apple store? I had not. This is about 10 years ago. And my daughter says, I want an Apple computer to go to college with. And okay, you know, as much as I'm paying, the college ought to provide you with a computer, but that doesn't happen. So we go to Crabtree Valley Mall in Raleigh. My daughter had been accepted to Meredith College in Raleigh, all women's university that sits behind a 10-foot brick wall to keep the boys out. I went to NC State, which is right up the street, right up Hillsborough Street. We knew all those girls were behind that wall. We just didn't know how to get over the wall. My daughter says, I'm going to Meredith. We got to have a computer. We drive up to Raleigh and we walk to the front door of the Apple store. Well, if you've ever been in an Apple store, it's not like any other store. Apple only produces, I think it's like 11 products. They don't have a world of things. They just have about 11 items that you can choose from. And they don't have a cash register, and they don't have stocks on the shelves. They have basically places where you can look at their products. And so I stopped at the front door. I'm like, oh, I got to get my bearings here. And I looked around, and there's just people. And I'm trying to find someone to help us. And as I'm watching the crowd, I began to notice there are people in the crowd that all have on khaki pants and a blue shirt. And then I noticed they had the Apple logo on the shirt. I'm thinking maybe these people are here to help us. And out of that crowd, there comes a young man. He walks right up to us and he says, "Welcome to the Apple store. How may I assist you today?" I never heard what he said because I was so focused on his hair. His hair did this. It went, and it just stayed there. It didn't lay down. It just, and the end of it was spray painted blue. Not the whole thing, but the end was spray painted blue. And it was the same blue as it was on his shirt. And then he had one of those things in his ear that you can see through. You know, I'm like, dude, when you run, does it whistle? I mean, hadn't you always wanted to ask that question? His hair's doing this. His hair is blue. He's got a thing in his ear. I'm like, I need help. Back here he goes, "How may I be of assistance today?" And my daughter takes over and says, "We're here to buy a computer." And in the next few minutes, that young man transformed into something with blue hair and a hole in his ear to one of the very best salespeople I have ever seen. He begins with a series of questions. "My name is Bob. Welcome to the Apple store. Have you ever been to an Apple store before?" He asked my daughter her name. Of course, my daughter's absolutely gorgeous. So, you know, so where are you buying a computer? What are you buying a computer for? She's going to Meredith. He's going to NC State. He asked her what her major is. "What are you majoring in?" "I'm majoring in voice." He says, "How much music do you have?" 7.5 days of music. I'm like, "You got 7.5 days of music on your computer?" Dad. He wants to know what her instrument is in music. She says, "It's my voice." "What kind of music do you sing?" "All kinds, all genres." Yes, everything from country to opera. She has the range. She can do it all. And he keeps asking questions. He's gathering information. "Will you live in the dorm? Are you going to need to record? Are you going to need to edit? Are you going to need this? Are you going to need how much battery life?" All that sort of stuff. I'm like, wow. And as he's asking these questions, he has drifted over to a table with computers. Now, my daughter has already told me what she's buying. She's already picked it out online. Everything is fine. And she tells him, "This is the computer that I'm here to buy." He goes, "That's perfectly fine. But let me show you this other option." He said, "The computer that you have chosen weighs like 5 pounds. This one weighs 1 pound. Are you going to carry it in a backpack around campus? Because weight might be a difference. And the computer you've chosen has a 2-hour battery life, and this one has a 12-hour battery life. If you're going to be using this computer all day in class without power, you might want to consider battery." And he asked, about her usage and the things, and he challenged her beliefs. And finally, my daughter goes, "Well, that's the one we need to buy." And for the first time in the sales presentation, he turns to me and goes, "Credit card?" I'm like, sure. And together, we all bought a computer. Now, let's go back and look at these 4 steps. And let me ask you a serious question. Are you doing this with your clients? Are you connecting first? At Recharge, we teach how to connect. It's a simple process called Forward. A series of questions connect you anybody, anywhere, anytime. And I travel all over the world, and in foreign countries, you can still run this process and connect to other people. Now, the second question is, do you know how to ask enough questions to gather information? Because if you just launch into your presentation without gathering information, well, a friend of mine likes to say, you can't be the answer to someone's prayers if you don't know what they're praying for? How are your gathering information skills? How are you at asking questions? And then, are you willing to present valuable information that will challenge the customer's beliefs and help them solve a problem? You see, we all have beliefs about buying and selling real estate. And there are people that are stuck in the 2008 era when, oh, heck, we could buy a house and there's nobody else trying to buy them. There's an oversupply. Today, we're in a completely different world. Right now, we're in the largest housing shortage known to mankind. We have we have 1 month's supply of houses in the United States. Houses are being bought up as rapidly as they come on the market. Let me give you a footnote. The listings are where you need to focus because that's where the money is right now. But you've got to be willing to challenge people's beliefs. The truth is, you got to know more than your customers about the real estate world. But the key here is, are you going to help me solve my problem? We don't close, we find a solution. When we find it together. So how are we doing, folks? I need to know. Are we doing all right? I mean, tell me something in the chat box. Is this good stuff? Are you tuning in? Have we lost anybody? Are you still here? The truth is, we need to know if this is good stuff. Now, the truth is, it comes from some of the best agents in the United States. I've studied them. I didn't invent all this stuff. I got it from great agents. Now, the question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to finish up here and run to an appointment and at the end of the day say, yeah, that was really good this morning, and go back to doing business the way you always have? Or are you going to change your career? That's my challenge for you today. Let's go back. Let's go back and take a look at how we can improve your business. Let's take a look at the buyer's process. Almost everybody in the real estate industry has what they call a listing presentation. If you ask most agents, do you have a listing presentation? They'll say yes. But when I ask agents, do you have a buyer presentation? They'll go, oh, what? You make the same amount of money working with a buyer as you do working with a seller. Actually, you make more because you have no marketing costs in a buyer once you've obtained the client, but you do have marketing costs in a listing. We teach a 10-step buyer process, a 10-step seller's buyer system. I learned this from a very successful agent in Colorado who told me, he said, there are 10 steps in the buying process. And just like your phone number, just like that 10-digit phone number, if you put the sequence and change it, you get a different result. So there's a first step, and then a second, third, fourth, fifth, right down the line. We teach that system at Recharge. It's a 10-step buyer system. Now, here's the truth. Most people don't even have a step. They meet a buyer, they throw them in the car, they ride around till they buy something or die. And then every now and then a buyer will walk in your office and say, I want to buy this house, and you show them 2 houses and they buy one and you think you're a genius. No, no, no. They've been through these 10 steps with someone else, and you maybe just did step 9 and 10, but they all have to go through the same journey. It's a 10-step buyer process. And the process has to be built around how the buyers think. And the truth is, buyers have fears. And does your buyer process eliminate those fears? Here, I'll give you, this is based on the National Association of Realtors profile of home buyers and sellers, and it is the buyer's greatest fear. Write these down. First, They're afraid they'll lose the property that they found online and they called you about, or they've contacted you to see. They've been doing their research. Then their second fear is, while we're looking at one house, we'll miss something else. They're always afraid of paying too much. And then they're afraid once they buy it, there will be something wrong with it, some massive problem that we didn't foresee and we're not prepared for. Now, if you'd like to take the time, here's what you need to do. You need to build a buyer's process that eliminates these fears. Because until you eliminate these fears, they're not going to buy. They will find houses, and then you'll have finished the day and they'll say, well, let me think about it. That tells me you still have fears from the buyer that you haven't resolved. We have a simple process. It's called the funnel process. And this is number 6 in the 10-step buyer process. You got to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 before you get this far. But this is where you eliminate all their fears. So I'll do it like you're a buyer. Mr. and Ms. Buyer, and we draw the funnel on a piece of paper and we say, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, here's how we're going to work together. We're going to take all of the homes in the marketplace, everything that's in the multiple listing service, new construction, foreclosures, short sales, for sale by owners. For sale by owners, don't pretend that they don't exist. And we're going to put them into your funnel. And through a process of elimination, which you control, we will eliminate the homes that don't match your criteria. So you want to be north, south, east, west, in this school district, master bedroom down, whatever your criteria are, we will eliminate homes. Basically to save you time through a process of elimination. And once we have it down to your top 2 or 3 homes, I'm going to do a market analysis on that property to make sure you don't pay too much. Our funnel process makes sure that you don't miss anything. Our process of elimination and doing a market analysis for you, the buyer, is made sure so you don't pay too much. And then here's a contract. And let me show you the clause where it says, this period of time, you have the right to inspect this property. And we're going to hire an inspector, and we are going to investigate the property before you buy it to make sure nothing major is wrong. And in 60 seconds of doing that presentation, you have eliminated all their fears. But if you don't stop and explain this to the consumer, they'll never know. I teach a course called Recharge. I'm giving you 1 hour of it today. I'm giving you a synopsis. I'm giving you the cliff notes. Now, if you want to change your business, go to my website, sign up for this course. It's going to cost you $300. Now, the question is, how much are you worth? How much are you worth? If you're not worth $300, take what you get out of this morning and move on. But if you want to change your career, I'll help you do it. Every Thursday in September, 9 to noon. Now, here's the cool part. We record it just like we do today. You'll be given those recordings. You can watch it over and over and over and over and over again in September, as long as many times as you want to. And each week we will do a 3-hour block. We take breaks in the middle. It'll be recorded. So if you have to run out on an appointment, or your kids are sick, or something happens and you can't make one, I understand. That's why we record it. It'll be posted, hosted. You can watch it again and again during the month of September. 9 to noon, Thursdays in September. Go to zanmonroe.com. You can't miss it. It's at the top of the page. Register. Now, if you are a company, we do company discounts. So if you have 30 agents in your company, we've got a deal for you. If you have 100 agents, my buddy Daryl Lundy, this is his phone number. He's on this session with us today, 336-210-3766, or DK Lundy 46 Daryl@gmail.com. Daryl will be able to explain what we do and how we can discount. You got a small company, it's a small price. You got a big company, it's a bigger price. But we do company rates. Now, the trick here is recharge is coming, whether you're going to be there or not. Let's get back to it. We've done 5 of the 8 keys to making you a success. And these are the sessions that we teach in Recharge. Like I said, it's a 12-hour course. We're doing it in 1 hour today. How's your listing presentation? Do you have the absolute drop dead world's greatest listing presentation? Because your success, especially in today's world, depends on your ability to explain the details using the Apple sales process and all the things that we've talked about today. How is your listing presentation? I'll give you a good example. One of the top agents I got to work with tracks how many listing presentations he goes on and how many he has the opportunity to take. Notice what I said, the opportunity to take. He turns down a lot because there's a few keys to a great listing presentation. And one of those is you should only list the houses that are going to sell. You might want to jot that down. You should only list the houses that are going to sell. Oh, everything is selling in the world today. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. It's called the odds of selling. And right now in the United States, we're selling about 55 to 60% of listings. And that means 40% of all listings that are entering the market today are not selling. And it's the hottest real estate market in the world. Why don't those homes sell? Because they're either overpriced, underfeatured, cracked foundation, too much. I looked at a home inspection yesterday and they had like pieces of wood underneath the house holding up the floor. Nobody's going to buy that house. So let's rethink your listing presentation. And here's the truth. The number one thing that makes houses sell today, the number one thing, oh, this will be fun. Y'all tell me. Here, let's do some chat. Let's do some chat. Hit me in the chat box. What's the number one thing that causes a house to sell today? Come on, wake up, pay attention. What's the number one thing? Put it in the chat box. What is the number one thing in the world right now that makes houses sell? Here we go. This is fun. I love this stuff. Presentations, pictures, price and location, location, price, no. Agreement between the seller and the buyer, price, updates, how much I care, space, curb appeal, a willing buyer, home ready to sell. What is the number one factor? What is the number one factor? Sorry, I didn't mean to do all the My wife gets on me after I do these sessions. She goes, you shouldn't do that to them. I have fun. I hope you're having fun. Here, let's do this. Come on. It's the seller's ability to make decisions. Number one thing that makes a house sell today is the seller's ability to make decisions. And the question is, what are you doing to enable your sellers to make the right decision? We have to teach them. We have to show them. We have to explain to them the market dynamics that they are currently living in. Seller's ability to make the right decisions is the whole key. Buyers can offer all they want. You got a dumb seller out there who refuses to see the reality of the world they're in, you're not going to sell it. You got a seller who refuses to have a home inspection before going on the market to make sure that they don't have wood holding up the floor underneath their house. Here, simple question. This is what we teach at Recharge. This is a question that should be in your listing presentation now. And if it's not, put this in there. Mr. and Ms. Seller, by the way, when was the last time you crawled under your house? Excuse me? Mr. and Miss Seller, when was the last time you crawled underneath your house? Because the buyer's going to crawl underneath your house. They're going to hire a professional inspector to go under there. What's under there? Do you know? Well, you have that little crawl space door. Or if you're on a slab, when was the last time you were in your attic? My next door neighbor has bats in her house. They're a protected species in the state of North Carolina. They can't get rid of them until the babies grow up and fly away. Well, you know, if you're going to buy that house, you need to know there are bats up there. Mr. and Ms. Seller, when was the last time you went under your house? When was the last time you looked at your plumbing? When was the last time you had your inspections done? Because your buyer is going to do that. There are two negotiations to selling every house. The first is the original sales contract. The second is repairs. Your job as the listing agent is to empower the seller, but they depend on you. And I say again, you only list the houses that are going to sell. Now at Recharge, we teach you how to tell which houses will sell. Your listing presentation needs to contain these sentences. You see, Mr. and Ms. Seller, I'm in charge of the process. I'm in charge of the process of selling your home. And I'm going to show you all the steps that we take to market your home to the world. It's a 21-step marketing process. 21-step marketing process. How many of you have in writing at your listing presentation the 21 steps that you are going to do to market their home? Well, what's on the list? We're going to put you in the MLS. Oh, I do that. Yeah, but do you have it written on a list that says our 21-point marketing program? 70% of humans in the North America market are visual learners. They must see it. And if you just talk to them about it, it doesn't work as much. You see, Mr. and Ms. Seller, I'm in charge of the process. You are in charge of all decisions. I'm not going to decide what your house is worth. I'm not going to decide how long to market it. I'm not going to decide how all this works. You're going to decide that, but I'm in charge of the process. When you, Mr. and Ms. Seller, try to get involved in my process, that doesn't work. It doesn't work any better than when I try to get into the process of you making decisions. Which brings us to item number 7 in the 8 today. We're getting close. I'll have you out of here in a few minutes. Pricing and positioning listings to sell quickly. Oh, the market's so hot. All I have to do is get it on the market. They'll bid it up from there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm still telling you, pricing and positioning is crucial. Positioning this house in the market so it sells rapidly is the key. And this is one of the graphics that we use. This is the housing market flow chart. This is how houses enter the market. You see, new listings while we're sitting here have entered the marketplace. And what we know is the very best values are shown and offers are made and they sell rapidly. In today's market, it's just a few days. The very best market. This has never changed. Doesn't matter in a rapid market or a slow market. The very best value, not price, value are shown and offers are made. But just like a lake in the summer where the surface of that lake is warm and the water flows through, there's a cold, murky part to the housing marketplace. Just like there's a cold, murky part to a lake. Because see, Mr. and Ms. Seller, there are a lot of houses in our market today that are being shown, but they get no offers. So I'll stop for a minute and ask y'all as listing agents, how many of you have a house out there that's being shown, but you're not getting offers? It's fallen down into the bottom of the market. Or perhaps you have listings that are just not even being shown. What we know right now is 40% of the real estate market is involved in the bottom of this lake. We call it the stagnant mass. And most times when normal balanced markets, this is a majority of the marketplace. Today, it's a minority of the marketplace. We're selling about 6 out of 10 listings that enter the market, but that means 4 out of 10 listings are falling down into the stagnant mass. We teach this at Recharge. I've got some feedback. Oh, Jody Chapman, who's down in Florida and been in the business 21 years, she has a 29-step marketing program. Hers is better than yours. You know why? Because you only have a 21-step marketing program. Our job is to fulfill the consumer's needs. Now, let's review. We've done 7 of the 8, saving number 8 for last. Here's number 1, a success-oriented belief system. We spend quite a bit of time at Recharge, probably the entire first day, talking about your belief systems and coaching you on how to reprogram yourself into higher production. The second thing is a written business plan. We've reviewed the 4 questions that you need to know about a written business plan. Where am I? Where am I going? Why is the key. And then how? Well, heck, I've been teaching you how. And that's what Recharge is all about. It's about the how. Building a business for life. We teach a 3-step communications program. Hear me out. A 3-step communications program with your client base. Not marketing, not marketing, communications. Your job is to communicate with people, not to market to people. And for God's sake, stop buying internet leads. You want to go broke real quick? They'll do it. I coach agents all the time. Well, I'm spending $9,000 a month buying leads. How's that working for you? In 2018, the real estate industry bought 300 million leads. We sold 6 million homes. Do the numbers. And then the research shows us that 80% of sellers already know who their agent is. It's not in buying internet leads. It's in building a database and communicating with them in a simple 3-step process. I have a partner. Her name is Jamie Kite. She is an expert in marketing. She runs a marketing company, advertising agency, brand marketing. She's online, she's in print. She understands marketing. She'll come into our Recharge course and teach a piece of that day, I hope, if she's available. And what she'll tell you quickly is you have to market from the head, from the heart, and from the voice. You have to give them knowledge that you are an expert, and you have to touch them here. You have to touch them in their heart so that they will form a relationship with you, but you must speak to other humans. It cannot be done online. Success-oriented belief system, a written business plan, build a business for life by communicating with your clients. The Apple sales system, we will investigate a 10-step buyer process, the world's greatest listing presentation, and pricing and positioning. All of that is covered in Recharge. But there's more. And here's more. When I started in real estate, my first broker, Mr. Jim Adams, told me the first week in business, he said, son, to be in real estate, you can earn a good living. He said, you'll make good money. You'll be able to drive a nice car, live in a nice house, send your kids to a good school. But he said, if you want to be wealthy, you must own it. We teach a course called Creating Wealth Through Real Estate, how to buy and invest in real estate. Now, part of this is out of my book, 7 Lessons for Success. Go ahead and buy this, by the way. I have grandchildren that need toys and food and shoes. Buy a book today. It's called 7 Lessons for Success. Anywhere books are sold, you'll find it. But the truth is, the tree that you see in this graphic here is what we teach. And the principle here is America's wealth flows to real estate. Less than 10% of the, listen to me, less than 10% of the US population has substantial money in the stock market. 65% of the US population has all their investments in one place, their residential real estate. As a society, our wealth flows to real estate. And here's what we know. If you just had one or two or three rental properties that were paid for, free and clear, how would that change your life? What if you had 5? What if you had 10? What if you had 50? Well, if you had 50, you'd be in a whole different category. How much money do you need to retire? Check your Social Security payments. It ain't going to carry you very far. And you're going to live to be close to 100. If you're young listening to me, you may live into your 110s. We have a 92-year-old aunt in rehab. She broke a bone, so they've got her in rehab. But they had a 104-year-old birthday party in the rehab center last week. You're going to be that old. You think Social Security is going to last another 50 years? Yeah. Housing, it's a fabulous way to build income. So we've gone a long way today. And the truth is, there's lots more to do. Let me pull up this graphic. I must have grabbed the wrong one. There's lots more to do. And what I would like to do is to share more with you. So here comes my sales pitch. It's time for you to make a decision about your career. If you think what I have covered this morning was good information, wait till you give me more time. Because we dig down into each one of these processes, all 8. In the wealth creation area, I will show you in our recharge course how to buy and sell, listen carefully, how to buy and sell investment real estate in a tax sheltered profit sharing plan that every one of you qualifies for. You're an independent contractor. You own your own business. The IRS says, oh, that qualifies you to do some really cool stuff. One of which is to open up a profit sharing plan, which is just like a 401k or an IRA. It's a tax sheltered account, but you have an expertise. You're a real estate agent. You're a realtor. And the IRS says, oh, if you want to own real estate in there, tax sheltered, you can. That's worth the price of admission because it took me 15 years of talking to the IRS, CPAs, accountants, tax attorneys to finally figure out how to buy and sell real estate tax sheltered. I do it. My wife does. Recharge is everything you'll need to improve your business, but you can't get it unless you register at zanmonroe.com. It'll cost you $300 and it comes with a money back guarantee. If what I teach and you apply, now that's the key, you must apply it to your business. If you apply it, I'll guarantee your income will go up by 50% next year, or I'll give you money back. No questions asked. The only question I'll ask is show me your systems. Because if you're running my systems, your income will go up. And it's all recorded so you can watch it coming and going. If you are a company or a broker, or if you think your company would like to participate, we have deep discounts for companies that bring groups of people into this course. Everyone in your company can. There's my buddy Daryl. Daryl, I hope you're having a good day. You can call him at that number. You can email him at that number. You can reach me, Zan at zanmonroe.com. It's been my pleasure to be with you today. Now I need to stop and ask for questions. So, Jody, Ben Bates that you work with down there is one of my big fans. I love Ben Bates. Tell him I said hi. Does anybody have any questions before we go? I have 10:03. I promised 1 hour. Anybody got any questions for me before we go? I'll be here. I'll give you a minute. Any questions? No? Must have covered it all. ZanMonroe.com. Get yourself registered today at Travis. Hey, Travis. Hey, buddy. Travis Bradford runs a company. Do we have to wait for recharge for the business plan? Oh, heck no. Go ahead and start writing your own. Travis, we need to talk about your whole company getting into this on a discount if you want to put them in there. So Colette says, can we rewatch this after September? Nope. It's available in the month of September. And that's the key. So it will be recorded. It will be available. We'll be live and we'll be recorded. ZanMonroe.com is where you go. And does the funnel fit into the business plan as a marketing element? Matthew, no, it's part of the buyer's process. It's not part of your business plan, other than in your business plan, you're going to say, I'm going to use the 10-step buyer process. And there's more than just the funnel. We have quite a few pieces that you need to walk your buyers through. ZanMonroe.com is where you need to go. Unfortunately, I must leave you. Any more questions before we go? I'll stay and answer. If not, I have an appointment across town. It's been my honor and pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great, great day. See you at Recharge. It starts September 3rd. We go the 3rd, the 10th, 17th, 24th, right here, same channel, same station. Go to ZanMonroe.com and sign up. Do it now before you forget. It's $300 to change your career with a money back guarantee. You pretty well got to do it. See ya.